a very exciting time in e-commerce, even with the challenges of supply chain that we're having right now. And I think at the conference, one thing I've learned is that the challenges are really real. How do you find that affecting your analysis?
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up, because specifically with China and the tariffs going on and all the other tariffs in all the other countries. And it's interesting when we take a step back and just looking at, hey, this realm of entrepreneurship. I've been full-time entrepreneur for about a decade now.
Right, I remember you.
And just really quickly in my story, we can touch on
Sure.
on it later if we want to. Is I was working corporate, not satisfied in that, started up my own company in the e-commerce space, and so that's where my experience came from. Ended up building that company, sold it, started another one, sold it, started acquiring companies, sold those. And so it's been this constant game of e-commerce has been my livelihood for a majority of my career here. And so during that path of entrepreneurship, there's always been roadblocks, challenges, things that change, whether it's supply chain things changing, whether it's sales channel things changing, whether it's marketing channel things changing. So the constant denominator in this space, as well as with any business space, is change. Thankfully, like the way I've found people to have success around those changes, like myself specifically, and then like the clients I work with specifically too, is that usually in masterminds or groups or having a community of people who are in the same space, and the closer to your niche, the better. Usually you're able to get some ideas. And so like, for example, if we're specifically talking about supply chain here, I've seen a number of solutions come up, whether it's bonded warehouses, whether it's DDP type shipping, whether it's utilizing manufacturing resources in different countries that can produce similar results, like Taiwan or Vietnam or India. So there has been a lot of pivot points going on, but it's cool to see how quickly, because we're 6 weeks into this, really, since all the big changes were going on. But I've seen a number of different solutions come up that help mitigate some of these issues. Now, of course, they're not completely solved, and it does impact valuation. It does impact the sales process. In the very beginning, we were under a number of different transactions where e-commerce in China was the main supply chain. 145% tariffs come through. It completely changes the financial picture of that company, what the buyer is buying.
Right.
And so therefore, we do have to make changes or pause things. And so it is this adjustment period, but thankfully, with enough time and time to resolve these kind of issues, is we've been able to mitigate and figure things out. And so that's the cool part. It's usually entrepreneurs are problem solvers.
Right.